Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, it's Friday today. We hand the reins over to the BonBon buddies over on Patreon and say, hey guys, vote us in a map, and they've gone with this one. Now, it's a request map, and when I received this request, I had some very strict instructions. I had to review it with a certain theme and LUT. Well, going on to the workshop, there is a theme there, and it does automatically load with the theme, but it's a different one. So I've chosen to ignore the request for the theme, which was for Cedar Valley, and I'm going to go with the one that you will get when you load in the map, because that's how reviews should work. However, the LUT I've decided to honour, which is Rain Day, so we'll be using that. So you should get the overall vibe of the gloominess of what's intended of the map. Okay, now all the important stuff is out of the way, let's get on with the non-important stuff, such as daily reminders. That's right, clicking that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Salmon Bay by Winter. Now, what I'm going to say about this map is, first of all, it's about 50% water. I'd like to see possibly the entire map pushed a little bit more down into that bay area. There's your start square with a couple of hints of water, one at each end, so one for drawing and one for pumping. I like that idea. And then the terrain heights, lots of flat buildable space around the coastline. That's strong. Resources, a little bit light, and what there are mostly away from the 25 tiles, but you can still play it. And fishing, if you've got Sunset Harbour and you want to do fishing, there is actually salmon in the bay. Credit for that one. Okay, consider this is 2018 build, okay? Off to the workshop. It's a mass transit map. You will need mass transit for this one. There is a one-click collection we'll check out in a moment. I've always said we're going to do the Not So Rocky Hills theme and not the Cedar Valley theme, and the Rain Day LUT, which isn't in this list, but we're using it. Now, a few of the things on the list I didn't notice, which I guess is good usage of them, or subtle usage of them, or could we have actually not used them at all of them? I don't know. I'll let you decide. But yes, it's I think the detailing on today's map, I'm gonna say substandard. It's not substandard. It's solid, but it doesn't. Given the amount of things that we're subscribing to, it's not breathtaking. And I would have hoped it to have been a little bit more breathtaking. But anyways, let's talk about the things which are good about the map. First of all, the networks. What we've got in the way of networks are genuinely quite believable. If you were coming to this area and there were no networks and you were building them as structural engineers, look, this wouldn't be far off what you probably choose to do. We've got some nice, clean, well-laid highways here, a very nice intersection coming up ahead, and this is the highway that runs right away across the map. It's just the one highway. And off of this highway we'll have a looping highway that goes down and through the start square, which has no traffic on it, which is good. So it means you have no traffic running through your city from the off. It's just going to be traffic coming to your city, which is cool. That's a really nice, it's a moustache. It's a moustache intersection, that one. Like one of those hipster moustaches, or, well, was it 1940? Oh no, probably 1920s gangster. A little top hat. Oh, it's the Pringles geezer's moustache. That's what it is. Anyway, we're now down to the 2-lane mass transit highways. This is the only place on the map where you're going to see them, here and the opposite side of the Bay Bridge. And the Bay Bridge, we've gone with the 4 lanes to 2 lanes to 2 lanes. So we've gone down for lane merging purposes. Now, I'm going to suggest, first of all, that the Bay Bridge is a magnificent asset that everybody should have in their inventory. Of course, right, now that's said and it's out of the way, we're going back down to ground level. We've got these, say, the 2-lane highways. Now, is it really worth it? Oh, and we're also elevated for small sections and slightly encroaching foliage as well. Is it really worth restricting the map to mass transit owners only because we've put in the Bay Bridge. Because we want to do some lane merging for the Bay Bridge. The Bay Bridge, of course, can be two-tier. You can have the roads running underneath as well, which means you could have the 3-lane highway running onto it. I feel that it's a bit of a miss, really, a bit mishit even. And let me just show you also underneath the highways. These are a reasonable height, about the minimum height you want to be. But we do have some medium-ish bushes underneath there that I'm not really buying into. Some the really small stuff and the shrubs, yeah, but those ones are probably not. But they're not clipping through, so credit there, credit for that. So yes, what was I saying? Ah, yes. So restricting this to anybody who has mass transit only, which I would say is the essential mod of all of the mods. I'll show you underneath again. That's the minimum height you want to have a flyover. You can just about get some highways underneath there. I say it is a bit of a I think it's a bit of a loss, because there are a lot of people that don't have mass transit who would not be able to play this map just for the choice of having lane merging for the Bay Bridge. You could have had a vanilla bridge over there, or a prop bridge. But anyway, start square intersection, and it's clean and tidy and will handle just about enough traffic, given that the only traffic coming through here will actually be coming into your city. Show you the little flyover bridge here. There's a little bit of a hump on this bridge. I like this. This is clean and tidy and good work as well. Right, so somewhere around here should be a start square. Oh, slightly clipping street lamp there. Did you see this? Did you see that? I've just spotted there's a slightly clipping street lamp on that bridge. Fail. No stars for anything. Okay, today's asset of the day is the modern low-rise condominiums by iTortilla01. And I have to try not to do that in a Spanish accent, because I would just sound absolutely ridiculous and racist, to be fair. To be fair, I would just sound like a generic white guy trying to do a Spanish accent, and it would not go down well at all. Let me put some light on so I can read today's factoid, because factoids... Lady Jane Grey was proclaimed Queen of England on this date, the 10th of July in 1553, at the age of 16. She only lasted a grand total of 9 days before she was arrested and executed. I've got to say, that's kind of sad. I should read up on Lady Jane Grey. I don't know that much about her. I do know that she was the shortest lasting monarch at 9 days, but it just feels a little bit mean. Low-rise modern condominiums there by iTortilla01. Today's asset of the day. Yes, yeah. There's so many bits. When you live in a country which has deep history, hi America, which has history going back 1,000 years, you don't know everything about everything. And I've got to be honest, history bored me at school. That was the one subject I could not get into. I love my geography. Obviously not enough, looking at the map reviews that I do for you. I love my geography, but I did not get on with my history at all, and I kind of blanked it out mostly. And then what I've learnt from history is what I've learnt from movies and the History Channel. Love the History Channel. They don't do enough about Lady Jane Grey, though. There's my problem. Anyway, we've got, trumpet intersection there, and a little bit of highway glitching down here, where we tried to do some, I don't know what's going on here with lane merging. Why have we got a third lane going in here, and we have mass transit 2-lane highways here as well. They were trying to do something. I don't know what it was they were trying to do, but we've ended up with glitching because of it. And it's just been pushed. The game has been pushed a little bit beyond its limits there. Now there are ways of actually getting around that. Like there are these little patches you can grab off of the workshop that will just sit underneath and will hide the fact that it's glitching. Because what's glitching through there is the grass underneath. And if what you have underneath is the same colour as the road, then you don't notice that it's glitching. It's clever. It's very, very clever indeed. Originally, it was like Surface Painter you'd use to clean that up, but Surface Painter isn't really accurate enough. Bless you, bloody Penguin, for the very early mods that you gave us all. And many of them we're still using today, but Surface Painter has its limitations. But God bless you, at the time, it was the best we had, and I blinking loved it. Anyway, we're following the rail now. The rail is pretty smooth. It's pretty smooth. It does go all the way across the map, but you probably noticed that we saw some on the opposite side of the map. We're just going to go down in towards the start square now, and this is within tolerance, I'd say. There is a little bit of a gradient coming down off of here down to the land again, but it's not hideous, is it? We do have catenary chaos though, just a little bit of catenary chaos there, with catenary standing in the middle of the lines, crossing over each other. Yes, easy to fix. I would basically get rid of them. Personally, like I've said this a million times, I'm in a part of the world where catenaries are not a thing. These things are weird to me. I don't understand them. I do understand them clearly. You know, you've got power running in the electricity above the lines, and it's got to be in many ways safer, I guess, than having them on the line. And yeah, we've got the live rail down here. We've got the live rail and fences to stop people from going onto the line, because if you stand on that, you're frazzled, you're cooked, you're gone. And sadly, and up by one of my local stations a few years ago, yeah, one of the kids was mucking around. Say kids, teenagers was mucking around, larking around as they do, and yep, zap, could not be bothered to go over the footbridge, and that was it. That was it. Took a shortcut across the line. Fools, just fools. Play safe, children. Do not play on railways. Ever. Anyway, play on Cities Skylines for the railways, because you've got catenaries. It's the safest way to build a city. Anyway, I've warbled on long enough. We are in the start square, which means we've come to the end of our rail journey, which means we can take an intermission and come back for the shipping. Will there be shipping on today's map? Time will tell.
Do your cul-de-sacs look like this? Do you want them to look like this? Then you need the Beginner's Guide to the Perfect Cul-de-sacs by BonBonB. Click the information button now.
And so we're back to Salmon Bay by Winter, and we have a shipping route. Yes, this one that follows a decent distance from the coast. Credit for the distance from the coast. That is very good. Sometimes you get them just running like a few yards from the coast, which is ridiculous. But no, this is the right distance, and it goes right the way across the map and off and out into the fog. But we also have a bay. We know, because it's Salmon Bay, and there be salmon in that bay. And smooth lines going into the bay, through and under a perfect height bridge there, that's good, and then we got a loop around and back. But yes, I did notice it. Yes, I did notice it. We come down here, look slightly off center, and any ships coming up this line here, on that side out, will clip right through that pillar. So a little bit of shipping clipping to be seen. Water flow, there's no real water flow as such, moving water. That's a little hint of water there. I would be pumping into there, and I would be drawing from here, this little point here. Reason being, this bay has no water spawn point, which means it's filling in from evaporation from the ocean. So what you've got, a lot of water pouring in through and under the bay bridge into that bay. So I wouldn't be pumping sewage into there, because it would just stick. That's what I would do anyway. Right, we've got another map. I would like to say just a little bit stretched out, a little bit more of the 25 tiles in the sea to be used would be good to me. Loving the cliff and beach work, I've got to say. Unfortunately, there's not enough of it. I'd love to see more of that. I mean, we've got a map which has lots of variants in it, but I'd like to see a little bit more beach work, actually, because the beach work is quality. Forests, we've got a lot of forests, and diverse forests, and it's kind of like little patches with blending in between. That's good, clean work. When you get down a little bit closer from above, you can see a little bit of the digitizing in the way that the trees are being placed down. But as you can see from up here, it's not massively obvious, and you're not really going to be seeing them from above, so that's fine. Some of the bay areas right by the start square are a little bit too shallow, a little bit too... you can see the grass texture is still showing underneath there, so it just needs to be deepened a fraction. I feel that it was probably a little bit more land at that point at one point, and they've just pushed it back a little bit. But yeah, it could just be smoothed, deepened a little bit, just a node or two. The hills and the mountains are great. They're great. I can't really say too much about them. They're just here for backdrop. You can build into them, of course, if you want to, but they're just adding a little bit of background, and they look okay. They look fine. They look fine. Tree placement is, I mean, not inspirational, but it's fine. There's nothing wrong with what's been done. So I'm happy with that. We do have a couple of rivers. This one is running a little bit light for what we've got. This map actually has been running for quite some time, and this is the settled water. In fact, it's been running overnight. I fell asleep, started recording this in the morning, and yeah, several hours of water flow, and this is what we have. Not that the depth of water is really so much of a problem, it's just when it gets really light like this, it's not quite touching the riverbanks, it is noticeable that it's light. And so, yeah, a little bit more work on the rivers, either fine-tuning the actual riverbed itself or putting a bit more water in there. Now, we do have a little bit of detailing, so I was talking about earlier about the amount of things we had to subscribe to for this. This is the first time really that you're really noticing any sort of detailing at all. And it's not really inspirational. It's fine. Again, there's nothing wrong with what we're seeing. It's just, it doesn't feel like it's been taken to the next level. It's just a nod to detailing. And that's good. It's good because we're starting out on that detailing, the slippery slope to detailing. Going from this little basic detailing up to spending your entire life making a map just so that it has detailing in it, and you feel that that grassy bush, that needs to be moved a node to the left. Just a node to, yeah, no. Your life will be gone. Anyway, what do you think of this map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewers' Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Click the I button now. It will take you to the voting page where you can log in using this YouTube account, or Facebook, or Gmail, or even a free Patreon account if you have one. Okay, aesthetically, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's sharp, it's crisp, it's clean, it looks realistic, there's lots of things to like about it. It's not mind-blowing, but I think it does fall into 4-star category, but only just. 4 stars for aesthetics. Detailing, and again, there's not really too much wrong with it. You've got a little bit of glitching here and there, but nothing horrendous. Also, nothing really outstandingly exciting. I think I've got to go down the middle with this one and give it I'm going to give it a high 3, because what there is good. 3 for detail. Gameplay potential. It's a playable map. I'm going to say it's not inspirational though. It doesn't really drive me to want to play it. And that is always a big thing with gameplay potential. It's, am I interested? I'm going to give it a medium to high 3 for gameplay. Salmon Bay by Winter. It's a solid map with very little wrong with it that doesn't really inspire me to want to play it. That said, if it inspires you, let me know in the comments because I need to hear it. Right, thanks for watching. If you're still watching, you are in the 20 and out elite. Use the words today. For 100 population points, I'll be asking tomorrow what your population is. So hopefully you'll be keeping track. And we'll be back tomorrow with another map in the What's a Map series. Thanks, guys. You are the best.